getting a little bit bored with the same old meals on keto, today's recipe is something a little bit different for you. Welcome to Pop Keto, where we aim to help you live a sustainable, low carb and keto lifestyle. Today we have a really cool recipe for you. It's easy, it's delicious, it's got a couple of ingredients we haven't played with yet on Pop Keto. I'm actually just really happy because I've been working on this one for a little while now and I'm really happy with how it's come out. Hey, before we get too far into it, welcome if you're a new subscriber or if you're new to the channel. We would really love to hear from you. What sort of things are you looking for on keto? What sort of meals do you feel you're missing out on? Pop that down in the comments, we'd love to hear from you. But that said, let's get into today's cook. So it's a French inspired dish. We're using a bit of chicken, we're using some mustard, some Dijon mustard, and we're using a white wine, which is something we haven't played with much here yet. So, and while we're cooking, we're just gonna talk a little bit about where the carbs are in this dish, and there may even be options for you to increase the fats or reduce the carbs as you see fit for your way of eating. So let's get into it. We're going to start by warming up our pan here. Now we are using one with a lid. You need to have one with a lid. We'll show you why. That's actually going to be so that it will help steam the chicken as we're cooking. You'll see, it's really cool. All right, so we're going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil to 4 chicken thigh fillets. Now this is a place where you can already start making a difference if you need to up the fats to the dish. Now I like this dish using full thigh fillets on the bone, skin on, yum. It's also the most tender version that I've made of it. Browning off the chicken with the skin and then using that in the dish, but it does make it a little bit harder to eat with the bone in there. We also tried it with thigh fillet skin on and that was just as good, but some in our family prefer just the thigh fillet. So we've got thigh fillets here. Like I said, we've coated them in oil. We're also going to give them a sprinkling of salt as we throw it on. Season as we go. All right, so thigh fillet 1. And really, we're not cooking them through at this stage. We're just browning them off. Bit of salt. Boom. Brilliant. Cool, so that's in there browning. It's only going to take a couple of minutes per side. Now while this is browning off, it would be an ideal time for you to chop up an onion into slices. I've already done that. Boom. And also a fennel, which we've got here as well. Just a quick check on these. Okay, we're getting there. Now one of the cool things about this recipe is that it's actually going to turn out to be quite creamy without using any cream. When it comes to the mustard that we're using, the juices from the chicken, and a few other things, it's really yum. So we talk about carbs. So in this dish, the main place the carbs are going to come from are actually your vegetables. In this part of the dish, the onion and the fennel are your highest carb items that you're cooking, and then we're choosing to serve it with a cauliflower mash. All right, another quick check here before we talk about the cauliflower mash. All right, cauliflower mash. Cauliflower mash is the single highest carb thing in this recipe. Now we've estimated that a 200 gram portion of the cauliflower mash, just turning these over, will be about 10 to 12 carbs. 10 to 12 grams of carbs, that alone. Now that is still low compared to a potato mash, but you can see that that is a significant amount of carbs if you're looking at only 20 grams of carbs for the day. So your options are you can reduce that to 100, that brings it down to about 5-6 grams of carbs, or just omit it altogether. It will depend on what you're doing as a target for carbs and whether you're on the 20 gram side of the keto diet or if you allow yourself up to 50. All right, like I said, we were just browning these off and that's about it now. So I'm going to pull these out. And you can see they've left lots of lovely fat there in the pan. I'm a big fan. So I've just put them aside for a second. Now, if you had used skin-on fillets, you'd have a lot more oil than this, and that's fine. Most of it is still going to be absorbed by the onion and the fennel. Right, so I'm going to add one more splash of olive oil. That's about another tablespoon. And to that, we are going to add 1 whole onion, which has been sliced, and 1 whole fennel that's been sliced. So the fennel, it's about 200 grams worth, and an onion, it's a medium onion. We're going to get them coated in the juices that are in the pan. And we don't necessarily want to brown these, we want to just let them soften. Breaking them up there. Cool. So that's going to be a couple of minutes. Okay, so you can see that's browned off a little bit there. It'd be better if it hadn't, but we can still make it work. Let's keep it going. Next, we are going to create our sauce that's going to coat the dish. And for that, we are going to use 1/3 of a cup of Dijon Mustard. And this is one that we get at Asda. Not sponsored, but it is sugar-free and low carb. And pretty clean on the ingredients as well. If you're still learning about reading labels at the moment, we're doing a series called Can I Eat This? Where we go through different options of foods. Now we started with one based on hot sauces, and we tasted some of the hot sauces that they use on the Hot Ones YouTube series. And we also recently did one on vanilla. What would you find helpful? What food or ingredient do you look at in the supermarket and wonder, which one do I pick? Let us know in the comments and we'll work on them as well. Now to this, we are also going to add 1 cup of white wine. Now this wine here is by Yellowtail and it's a Sauvignon Blanc. 100 mils. Is it 100 mils? Yeah, 100 mils of this has 0.3 grams of carbs. So 1 cup that we've just put in there is less than 1 gram of carbs for this whole dish, and we're making for 4 people. Now we've actually found it hard to find nutritional information for wines online. Yellowtail are one of the ones that make it relatively easy. There's this really cool chart where you can look through all their wines and look through all their nutrition and compare. And they've got a few options that have less than 1 gram carb per 100 mils. And again, this isn't sponsored, but if you're looking for something like that, have a look at your options. All right, so we've mixed them together. Also, what we're going to add here is a Star Anise. Boom, just pop that straight in there. We're gonna pick that out later when we're reducing the sauce, but it's really gonna help in there with the fennel and the anise. It's gonna be really yum. All right, a little bit of pepper. And a little more salt. All right, so we are going to return our chicken breast into this now, and we're just putting them on top of there actually. Now there are juices in this bowl. We are putting them back in the pan as well. And we're going to put in some smoked bacon. We're just kind of cut it up into good eatable sized pieces, about the size that you can have on a fork and put into your mouth. And we're going to just layer it over the chicken, like so. You could cut it with a knife, but I've seen them do this at Korean barbecue and it works. Now in particular, I'm using a smoky bacon because that's really the flavor that we want to impart to the dish, the smokiness. So that's 2 slices of bacon. Now we put the lid back on and we're going to keep that on a low simmer just until the chicken's done. Probably expecting that to be about 20 minutes. For the next part of the cook, I'm just going to pop this behind us. And this is while we work on our cauliflower mash. So I have already broken up a cauliflower into small flowerets, and we're just going to steam them until they are just done. Now we have done cauliflower mash a couple of times now. We did it as part of our Christmas preparation, and we've also done it as our cottage pie topping. So I'm not going to go into heaps of detail on it today. Basically, we're going to steam cauliflower, throw in some butter, throw in some salt, hit it with a stick mixer. Right, chicken on this. Perfect, we are nice and soft. Let's turn this off. I just found an ingredient that I forgot. So we're gonna add a juice of half a lemon into the mustard and wine sauce. That is smelling good, by the way. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna leave the lid off the chicken so that the sauce can start reducing. The chicken is pretty much cooked through now and it'll continue to do so, but let's get some of that liquid out. All right, cauliflower mash. So we've got butter. It's about 4 tablespoons. Cauliflower goes in there. Good pinch of salt, and then the stick mixer. Ooh, that's good. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why I wear an apron. So let's bring the chicken back onto there. See, that's cooked nicely through. The bacon has cooked. And what we are doing now is we're trying to get some of the liquid out just to reduce it down to a nice thick and creamy sauce. All right, that's looking good. I think we're ready to serve up. Look at that, sauce on everything. All right, let's get rid of this aniseed while we see it there before we get caught up in anything else. All right, so we start with some of our lovely creamy cauliflower mash. Again, if you are looking to reduce the carbs even further, you can just not use this if you like. It's actually a pretty versatile recipe. So to that, we're gonna add some of this beautiful onion and fennel mix. Look at that right there. Yum. One of our chicken pieces that's still got some of the bacon on it. Beautiful. And then some of this delicious, thick, creamy sauce with no cream in it. Delicious and lovely. And the last thing that we're gonna add to that, just for a bit of presentation, just some of the fronds from the fennel plant that we used for the dish. So I took these off earlier and saved them just for this purpose. And there you have it, a delicious French-inspired chicken with white wine and mustard sauce. So let's tuck in. A little bit of the chicken, oh, beautiful. A bit of the onion, mash, and bacon. Let's have a taste of that. Oh, yum. Oh, I can't tell you how happy I am with this dish. I love this. You get a little bit of bitterness from the mustard. You get a good amount of the fennel and aniseed coming through, and it tastes creamy. Like the sauce actually tastes creamy, even though there's no cream in it. So guys, this is a great family dish. Make it for a date night if you like. It is really, really good. I hope you try this because I am really, really happy with this one. It makes me a little bit excited sharing this one because I have worked on it for a little bit. So please try making this dish. If you do, put it up on your socials, tag us. We're on Facebook and we're on Instagram and obviously on YouTube. If you're new to the channel, why don't you check out some of the other videos that we've done. We've got heaps of recipes and a few things that we chat through. Again, love to hear you in the comments down below of any feedback that you've got. But other than that, stay happy, stay healthy, and we'll see you next week. Bye.